Hey guys, I got a question for you. Do you like epic games? Of course you do. Well, I got a game that's right up your alley. It's called Darksiders for the Xbox 360. In this game, you'll be playing as one of the four horsemen of apocalypse. And this is a action adventure hack and slash produced by THQ. And in the game, basically you'll be fighting off the armies of heaven and hell as you play a neutral character here. Let's take a look at some screenshots from the game. Now, first thing you'll probably notice is that the graphics in this game are very nicely rendered. They're beautiful graphics, to say the least. I think THQ did an excellent job. You can see they put a lot of work into the image. The graphics are highly detailed. It looks like it came right out of a comic book. It's just very vibrant and colorful. The settings have a nice variety to them. You'll get to see some expansive landscapes, such as giant mountain areas, cliffs, dungeons, deserts, a beautiful garden, lush environment, flowing waterfalls, all kinds of really nice stuff, as well as the city environment, which looks like it's in total chaos. You can see giant buildings, street lights, street lamps, traffic, lava spikes coming up out of the ground, flames, all kinds of cool stuff like that. The graphics I gotta give an A+. I mean, they just look superior. The only complaint I have with the graphics is that the graphics could have been better during the cinematics. I don't think they did pre-rendered cinemas. Like in a lot of games nowadays, you'll see pre-rendered cinemas that just look fantastic. But these cinemas, it looks like they were created in real time. But yeah, they did a really nice job of adding special effects, lighting, some really cool things. Little intricate things like the glowing eyes of your main character, the flames coming off your sword and your horse. But anyway, let's move on. Enough about the graphics. Let's talk about the gameplay. After all, gameplay is the most important part of a game. I feel like the controls are very responsive in this. There was never a moment where I had to struggle, where I was really struggling because the controls weren't responsive enough. I always feel like I had good control of the game. I had a handle on the situation. The layout of the controls, it's very convenient. It works well in pretty much every situation. The environments are about what you'd expect. There's not a whole lot of interactivity. But as you can see here in this screen, he's swinging from one of these hooks on the... Well, maybe it's not a hook, but whatever it is, however you want to describe it, he's swinging from it. And there's just little things like that you can do. Nothing major, like you won't be able to interact with every little detail you find in the environment. But certain things like this you can interact with. Also, like if you're in an area where it's a street or city, you'll find street lights and street lamps, and you'll be able to go right up to it, rip the pole right out of the ground and use it to swing or throw it. Also, cars you can pick up and throw them into the wall and they break. Cool stuff like that. Alright, let's talk about the sound in this game. The music is pretty good. No complaints there. It sounds a lot like pretty much any other game in the genre. Very reminiscent of God of War. You hear a lot of bass, a lot of rumbling. Also, you know, chanting and epic things like that you'd expect from a game. Sound effects work great. No complaints there. I gotta give the sound an A-. I want to talk about the story real quick, if I can. The story involves you as War, one of the four horsemen of apocalypse, and you're working for a group called the Charred Council. And the Charred Council's role is just to govern heaven and hell. Okay? You're the in-between guy trying to, you know, balance this conflict. Now, the story doesn't take a lot of twists and turns. It's very simple. But it's fun nonetheless. It's an enjoyable story. And you'll pretty much only get to hear about the story after you've completed an area or defeated a boss. And you'll see a cinematic. So, in that sense, the story doesn't interrupt the gameplay at all. But I think it leaves a little bit more to be desired. And I hope they do a follow-up. In the sequel, I'd like to see a lot more character interaction and development. Overall, I was very impressed with this game. Had a lot of fun. It's somewhat challenging. It's not the most challenging game you'll ever play, that's for sure. It's not as difficult as Ninja Gaiden. It's a lot more forgiving. You won't die as many times. I'd say the majority of the challenge comes from the combat. There are some moments that really press you, and you'll have to put the pedal to the metal. But it's nothing that you can't overcome without, you know, a couple tries. I'd say the most difficult part of the game are the bosses. I had trouble with the first boss in particular. Not the very first boss from the introduction level, but the first boss from a dungeon. Anyway, the game utilizes your weapons and your abilities really well. You'll start out with your sword, and that's going to be your primary weapon. Later on, you'll pick up a scythe and gauntlets. You'll be able to upgrade those, as well as upgrade your magic abilities that they call Wrath. And the Wrath will help you out during battle, but it won't be enough to actually win the battle, so don't rely on them too much. So overall, the game's a lot of fun. I highly suggest you pick it up, try it out, and give it a go. Tell me what you think. I'm going to have to give the game an 8 out of 10. I truly enjoyed Darksiders, and I think you will too. So anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you next time.